Hey guys, just going through another quick example for you with graphing the quadratic or graphing the parabola, just to show you how to go through the process in case you needed another one for homework help. So what you want to do, the steps that we're going to follow, again, they're listed earlier. I'll just list them out again quickly here. The steps that we're going to follow, first thing we're going to do is one, you want to make sure it's in standard form. So again, standard form is when it looks like this. Ax squared plus bx plus c all together on one side. And now that we're graphing, you'll see y or f of x. When we're solving, you'll see 0 or you'll pretty much see 0. But now that we're graphing, we want the two variables x and y. So we'll tend to see y. Anyway, the next thing you want to do is you want to find your axis of symmetry. And the axis of symmetry you get by using the formula. It's negative b over 2a. The third step you want to follow is to find the vertex. And the vertex is the point x, y. And you get that by plugging in x to get y. Trying to squeeze that in there. Step 4 is to graph your vertex and axis of symmetry. Step 5 is to pick 2 points and mirror. All right, so these are the steps you want to follow. These are the steps we followed on the 1 or 2 examples from class. So what you want to do here first for this one, this is the first one. That's why I didn't assign this one for homework. This is the first one where you have to multiply it. Like this is not even anywhere near what we need for standard form. So for this one, for y, I need to get it in standard form. So to do that, I'm going to do x plus 4, x minus 2, and I need to actually FOIL, distribute, use my box method, whatever method you guys prefer. So it's going to be x times x, I get my x squared. X times negative 2, I get negative 2x. Then I distribute my 4. 4 times x is 4x. And 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. I'll then combine like terms, and I get x squared. These two can be combined. So plus 2x minus 8 equals y. We put the y in front. All right, so this is our standard form. So we can now replace this with y equals, just so it's clear that we're not going to be looking at that. I don't want you to plug the wrong things in for A, B, C, etc. So now that we have it in standard form, you should just list out your A, B, and C just so you know what you're plugging in. So I'm sorry, that's what I should have had here for A. That's standard form. So I want to know whether this is going to open up or down. Again, the A value determines that. Excuse me for yawning. If A is positive, that means it's going to open up. And because it opens up, that means that our vertex is a minimum. It's the low point. So it's going to be up and it's going to be a minimum. So those will be our answers for B and C. I wrote in the directions to ignore D and E for right now. Some of you might remember what the vertical shift is going to be, but you really don't have to worry about that right now. We'll talk about that in class, our next session. Then we need our axis of symmetry. So for our axis of symmetry, again, it's a formula. Always the same formula, so make sure you write that down and you have it handy. Negative b over 2a. So again, if we sat down and wrote out a, b, and c, a is 1. Again, we're going from the standard form. B is 2, and C is negative 8. So it's going to be minus, because that's the formula, and then it's 2. That's what we're plugging in. And then it's 2 times 1. And so it's going to be negative 2 over 2, which means that my x is negative 1. That's my axis of symmetry. Again, why this is important? Because this is also the x coordinate of my vertex. So I already know that for my vertex, it's negative 1. And now I need to figure out the y value for my vertex. Again, the vertex, this is the axis of symmetry. I'm just going to sketch in this little drawing up here. The axis of symmetry is that line. It passes through the vertex. So that's why it has that same x value. So we plug the x in to figure out y. We plug, excuse me for yawning, we plug x into the original equation. So, I'm sorry, when I say original, I don't mean, you could technically plug it into the one that's not multiplied out, but I'm going to plug it into the one we use to get it in standard form. So I'm going to plug it in there. So it'll be y equals, again, instead of x, I'm putting in the negative 1 squared, plus 2 times, well, where did that come from? Plus 2 times negative 1. And then minus 8. Again, I mentioned in class that you guys can key this whole expression in at one time. Some of you guys try to do the squared and then the multiplication. Excuse me. Then the subtraction separately. But understand that if you have any type of scientific calculator, even in your phone, you should be able to key this whole line in at once and then just press equals at the end. That'll sometimes alleviate some of the sign mistakes you guys might make. So this will be 1. I'm just going to do it out again. You don't have to. Plus, this will be a negative 2, and then minus 8. I'm going to end up getting negative 9 for this. So my vertex is the point, negative 1, negative 9. It's a point. So now, again, my next step was to graph the vertex and the axis of symmetry. So my vertex is my axis of symmetry is negative 1. So that's this vertical line, and it's always, again, x equals, so it's a vertical line. You go to that value on the x-axis, and you make a vertical line straight through it. And then my vertex is negative 1, negative 9. So negative 1, negative 9. Here's my vertex. Actually, let me use a different color. Oh yeah, I didn't take out my whole line. Negative 1, negative 9, so it stands out a little bit. And then it says to pick a point and mirror. I'll pick 2 points and mirror. Now, the options for picking the 2 points, you can go 2 to the left, or you can go 2 to the right. I recommend you go in the direction of 0 all the time. So if 0 is to the right, go to the right. If 0 is to the left, go to the left. Just because 0 is one of the easiest values to plug in. So if you plug in 0, you're probably less likely to have any mistakes, and it's much easier to do the math. So I'm going to go to the right. Since I'm going to go to the right, I'm going to pick the next 2 values. This is negative 1, so this would be 0, and then this would be 1. If I went to the left, I would have put in negative 2, and I would have put in 3. So again, x, y. If I went left, I would do negative 2, negative 3. And again, I would plug them into the equation to get the next 2 values. But I'm going right, so the 2 values that I'm going to plug in are going to be 0 and 1. So if I plug in 0, again, I plug it into this equation. I'll just come down a little bit to show you guys what I'm plugging in. So it'll be y equals 0 squared plus 2 times 0 minus 8. Again, the reason 0 is so easy to plug in is because this is 0, this is 0. I'm just going to be left with the negative 8. So it's super easy to get the math with 0. And then I'm going to plug in 1. And even 1 is, relatively easy to do the math for as well. So y equals, it'll be 1 squared plus 2 times 1 minus 8. That's going to end up being negative 5. Okay. And then I have my 2 points. So my 2 points, now I'm going to graph or plot those 2 points. I'm going to do them in blue as well. So it'll be 0, negative 8. And my next point is 1, negative 5. So right now I have kind of like a half a parabola. It's not done. So how do I finish it? This is where the mirror piece comes in. Instead of me having to plug in like all of these points and doing the math 4 different times, once I pick the 2 points on this side, I can just mirror them over the line of symmetry. So what this means is that because I know this is symmetric, if this is 2 units to the left, I can just go to, 2 units to the right. I could just go 2 units to the left and put the point. And I know that's what the answer would have been because it's a line of symmetry. And then this is 1 unit to the right. So I go 1 unit to the left and I put a point there. So this would be my parabola. Okay. And that is that. Again, that should help you out with a couple of the graphs for the homework. Have a great day, guys, and I'll see you in our next live session.